life on this earth plane has more challenges than goodies. There are health challenges, relationship challenges, and above all, financial challenges. And where do they originate, these challenges? They originate in our genes. We have been used to thinking that the genes are responsible for our body, for our diseases, for our intelligence. But the genes are also responsible for our financial problems. That seems to be not acceptable. But how is my father responsible for my finances? The easy way to answer the question is, if you are born in the family of a billionaire, you don't have any financial problem. Or the royal family in UK, they have no problems. So financial problems are also related to the family in which you are born. But I would go one step further and tell you they are related to your genes. Years ago, I did a video and then I promoted it also because that's one of my main teachings on this earth plane, to take care of our problems, health, financial, relationship, is one powerful technology is feeding our ancestors who passed away. My father, grandfather, grandfather's grandfather, everybody, the family tree of the father and mother. We all know, when I say that you inherit the genes from the father's side and the mother's side, you have no problem. I'm accepting that. But when I say the financial problem is from their father and mother, even the relationship problem, it's difficult. But if I just explain to you, you will accept it. The genes are responsible for the diseases. For instance, my father had diabetes and I have diabetes. And then I just controlled it. And my brothers did not also inherit it, but they did not control it. That's the difference. So you do inherit the diseases. And not only that, you also inherited their thought patterns. Where do the thought patterns originate from? The genes too. It's not that your brain thinks. Your genes think also. And where are the genes coming from? From your ancestor, from your father, from your mother, from their father, their mother. So there is a whole family tree passing on financial problems. So I presented it as science, and the science was called soul genetics. You have not only inherited biological genes, but also, so to say, soul genes. I kind of word soul genes and soul genetics. And you are responsible for, your soul is responsible for all kinds of problems here, almost all of them. Physical, mental, behavioral, everything. Because the soul is responsible because an energy for your body, for your mind, and for everything. When you have inherited the soul from your father's side, from your mother's side, thus you have inherited their thought patterns too. If they were afflicted with financial problems, they pass on to you. And then once you inherit that, then you are thinking their thoughts. That's why I say your thoughts are not strictly your thoughts. They are your father's thought, your mother's thought, your grandparents' thoughts, great-great-grandparents' thoughts. So how do you get rid of them? You know now there is you as an individual thinking thoughts, and then you have the ability to decide whether to accept a thought or not, or accept a disease or not. Just as I have to tell diabetes, no, stop it. So similarly, you can turn to your thought patterns and tell them, hey, this is not going to work for me. These poverty thoughts are not mine. That's one thing that you have to do on a conscious level. That's not enough. And this is where the soul genetics is very important to understand, that the departed souls of your father, mother, and grandparents, they are on their journey. To what is called the world of the ancestors, the galaxy of ancestors, and which is under the control of Vishnu Loka. And it is very difficult for them to move on because they are really struggling to move forward. And who can help them is you. You can help them. And why do I have to help them? Because if you help them to move forward to liberation, they will be liberated, and their liberation is also your liberation. Your thoughts, poverty thoughts, relationship, problems, all the other problems you have will be vanished. That's why soul genetics, and it has a technology, which is the Tarpanam technology, which is feeding the ancestors with sesame seeds and rice grains and a special grass, darba grass. That's you can go and get some information on this in Asawed websites, how to do Tarpanam, which is Tarpanam is feeding the ancestors. So these ancestors come here on every new moon day to visit with their descendants. And then what they expect is that they expect you to feed them. It's not an expensive feeding. It's just a few grains of black sesame seed and rice, and some tulsi leaves, and some sandalwood powder, with a darba grass. It's a grass through which their soul can. It's a technology. It's a complete technology. Yes, I can talk a lot about the tulsi leaves and the sesame seeds. The sesame seeds are incredibly powerful. It has atomic energy, and and the sandalwood also carry divine energy of the space. So for you, to be very simple, just collect all these things. They are not very difficult to collect. You can buy them from Indian stores, and then can do it yourself. Just take all of them and put it on your palms, and then pour water, and then invite your ancestors, and you're done. And then accept my offerings on both the father's and mother's side. Please do that. The reason why there are elaborate explanations across the YouTube and Facebook, etc. And if you want to do through Astrowade, we have qualified people, especially with only one person of all the people in the world I found who is has been with me for the past couple of decades, who has the ability to, he's an expert in this ancestor reading, so you may want to consider if you want to sponsor those. I think it's a 14, 15-day everyday ritual starting from soon, I think. You can look up, it's the 21st or whatever. For 14 days, they are here on this earth plane, all your ancestors, and they need to be given food, and then that will enable them to pass quickly through the hurdles, whatever they are facing, and then as a result, they will be liberated, and as they are getting liberated, what happens? You will be liberated. Your relationship problems, your financial problems, all these are due to this is the model they have. And it is a very, very powerful one. And then this belief is pan-Asian also in other countries too, particularly in Japan, China, India, all these countries. Ancestor worship is very, very important. So that's the easiest way to take care of your multiple problems. And not only that, your health also gets better. And you can see the changes taking place. Because to deal with the problem only on a psychological, mental, or intellectual levels will not be as powerful as going to the roots, which are your souls, where you originated, just as your disease originated from your parents and grandparents, your thoughts originated from them, and we have to get rid of those negative thoughts and do that. And so, I used to, the yogis used to take special preparation of herbs, and I use it during the time of Mahalaya. Very, very elaborate one, because you can prepare the body to receive the spirits. And I go one step further, because I just want to, this is a time, it's a very auspicious time for gods to descend. Not only, you don't think that only the ancestors are coming down. So I just used to call on gods to get into my body. So I used a preparation which I put it together just to get the gods into my body. And this is it. And I'm going to drink it. This is it's called Amrita Karuna. Amrita means the elixir, Karuna means the compassion of God, giving us the elixir. It is the goddess Lakshmi and Shiva and Karpaswami and Mother Goddess. So it's not available here, but I will soon make it available to you guys. And so I will drink this now for the health of the world. All that you need is a very small amount. That's not. It will be a little bitter. That's okay. Now, the most important thing for anyone in this lifetime is to relieve the suffering of the other person. Of course, yourself too. And if you do something to relieve the suffering of other people, even you don't have to give them money or food or any clothes or anything, even talk to them, comfort them, take them to the temple or the church or synagogue or wherever. If we can financially help them, that's great. But if you can't, don't worry about it. But at least do whatever you can do. Then you will get the blessings of gods and goddesses, and also your ancestors. It will also help your ancestors to move forward, because whatever happens to you happens to your ancestors' soul, and whatever happens to your ancestors' soul happened to you. That's the bottom line. And you will feel elevated yourself. There will be so much joy that will come out of any act of compassion. That will not only help you, but also your family and your offsprings as well. That's why feeding is very, very important. Feeding the poor people. And this is the time that you should donate money for various feeding activities, especially people who are very, very hungry. Once I wanted to help someone who wasn't able to get a job. I was in New York at the time. Okay. I said, we'll do something. This I have done also in San Francisco as well. This was in New York. I took this person, went to Burger King, bought a lot of burgers. and then went looking for the beggars. I don't want to use the word beggars. People were hungry and homeless. And then we distributed. That person and I went and distributed. And they were so hungry. And some people asked, can I have one more burger? I don't want the French fries. I said, that's not good for health. Oh, that's good. So another person said, can I have that French fry? He doesn't want. Yeah, of course. You will feel that you are in a different state of mind right after doing that. God will shower infinite blessings on you when you do that. Feeding people. So in fact, today is the best day to do it because today is this Saturday and also the 13th moon, I believe. So right after this, I'm going to go and feed people. So that is an important charity act you can do throughout these 15 days or 14 days of special ancestor program, feeding them. It's not that you have to feed only once a year. You should do it at least every Amavasya day, which is the dark moon day, new moon day. And I advise people, do it every day. And then keep your, the rice and the sesame seed handy and then offer it anywhere, any day. So soul genetics is a very important science and technology. Sometimes I want to do a study of how people's life changes. I think we can even do the study now. We can have a control group of people, and then we will go, we can look at the parameters of how much they make, what are their problems, and then get a psychologist or a social scientist to come up with the parameters to look at, and then have a study. What happens to them after they do the ritual? The reason why I want these studies, because I'm now involved in a lot of clinical studies for cancer at 3 or 4 centers in India. I see the value of those studies. We need proof. So we need proof of not only disease getting under control or healed or cured or whatever, but even for you to see that your finances improve, your job changes, your relationship improves or changes, your health improves or changes, and then all these things can be studied. And once you study, then people will look at it more seriously rather than an I say soul genetics and your ancestors are in the space and then they are in trouble and if you do this, then that's what's happening. That's true, in my opinion, understanding. They are literally true. But then we live in a civilization which is more wanting proof. And I thought that this would be, I don't know if it's possible for people because I don't have a group of scientists with me who can do that. We can hire them too. So let's see if we can do it this year to take a control group, and then the control group won't do this ritual. And then let's see if their karma changes or not. So, putting it out and then we'll see the universe, whatever the universe wants to do with this, that's fine with me. And I will do my part. So relieving the pain of other people is the most important thing. So that's all I wanted to say to you. And then there will be also another important program that I'll be starting soon. That is to release you stream breezy water. And then, see, I drank this. There are so many gardeners. And I can, the way to do is I can do mantras, or it's very difficult for many people to do mantras. So there are herbs. There's Shiva's herb and Vishnu's herb and Karpasami herb. Karpasami herb is also good to drink it. Okay. And so I came up with this stream breezy water because so that you can drink the energy of stream breezy. Okay, which is my own energy. That's why in my Mula mantra, I removed the word Baba and then put the word stream breezy. Because I was one time a great yogi. And at that time, my name was Brizi, Yogi, Brizi Maharishi. That's why at one point I called myself as Brizi Maharishi. And then I had a beard that came to my belly button and a hair that was hanging out. And I couldn't understand why I was doing this. It's in the 90s. And people will call me and make fun of me at the airport. Here comes Jesus. I will laugh and then I will go. And then, because that was Brizi, the god, the rishi Brizi was getting into my body. That's why I was doing all that I was doing at that time. That is anecdotal. That is for now. That's enough for now for me to talk about that. So, to summarize, financial problems are due to poverty thinking, poverty, creating a poverty environment around you, everything, health problems, relationship problems, and they can be related to your gene, and your genes can be related to your parents, and the parents' thoughts, all your thoughts, and then they are not good. We have to get rid of them. That is all the program is about. I'm very happy to talk about that. So take advantage of this time And then I've talked about Tarpanam a lot, so there are so many videos which you can also listen to, which I have done over a period of, say, at least 15, 20 years. God bless.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. So Dr. Pillai mentioned a few things that I'll give you a little more info on, as well as answer any questions you have. I see there's a few questions that came into chat. So go ahead and post any other questions you may have. So first of all, Dr. Pillai mentioned feeding and how important this is to people on the earth plane who are in need, as well as those as your ancestors. You can Everything that Dr. Pillai said today, there's two ways to do. You do it on your own, which is recommended, and you can do it through the services that Pillai Center offers. So these are done for you on your behalf by experts in India, these specialists who are doing Tarpanam feedings, offerings, and it's in their lineage and supported by their ancestors. You can have it done on your behalf. Now, I do both, right? So you do it at home, you do what you can do, and then you make sure it's done for you. I make sure it's done for me every possible way all throughout the year through the year-long Tarpanam service at Pillai Center. So if you want to really just have all your bases covered, the year-long Tarpanam is your best bet. If you want to focus in on these next 15, 14 days, then you'll want to participate in the Mahalaya 2021 services, and you can find that on the link below this video. Interestingly enough, and non-coincidentally, Dr. Pillai talked about feeding those in need, and part of the package is actually feeding people, those in need, so that you're receiving the blessings of them, and your ancestors are receiving the blessings of the people you're feeding. Dr. Pillai very specifically said that today. So do charity, help people who are suffering. All those things are what we want to do in order to feed our soul, feed our ancestor soul, and help to evolve. And he mentioned very specifically to help us evolve in different areas of life, whether it's our happiness, our health, our wealth, our relationships, etc. So he also mentioned he wants to do a study, and recently we've been posting in one of the Facebook groups asking people for their experiences of how Tarpanam and these ancestor services have helped them. And so I want to read you out just a few of this. And here's one says, I'm a relative newbie to Tarpanam, and I understand and address the why, the need. It makes me acknowledge the huge role I play in my life, taking responsibility, how it helps others in their journey. I want to thank Dr. Pillai and the teachers for this guidance. I've been doing it diligently since early this year and have seen amazing changes. Next, when I started Tarpanam, I could hear a voice that said, thank you. Your ancestors need help, and miracles can make, when I first started Tarpanam, I could hear a voice that said, thank you. Your ancestors need help, and miracles can happen if you help them. Now that was such a beautiful, perfectly executed testimonial. Here's another one. I have been doing it every day since 2009. I don't know what bad things I have avoided, but life has been smooth and quiet. So that's great. Sometimes we don't know what we're avoiding that could have happened. Right, the sadness, the depression, financial crisis, all of that by doing the rituals, by having them performed on our behalf. Here's another one. I have been doing Tarpanam consistently for about a year. I feel the ancestor blessings in my everyday life. I feel more peaceful, more productive. I look at challenges in a different way, positive way, knowing that I have the support in conquering anything I desire. It is just a wonderful feeling when you feel their presence, the ancestors. I highly recommend doing Tarpanam every single day. So those are just a few that we collected, and there's a lot more. So join the Facebook groups. Specifically, there's a group, Dr. Pillai Global Community, and see what's been shared and also contribute your sharing. Dr. Pillai wants to hear from you what you have been experiencing by participating either in the ceremonies or doing it on your own. So the other thing I want to mention is he mentioned, Dr. Pillai mentioned earlier, one priest in particular who is quite the expert. And this priest does individual sessions, individual tarpanams, offerings. So if you have a particular soul, maybe that was close to you, someone who passed away, that you want to have very specifically help them, maybe you're feeling their presence, then this individual, it's called individual Mahatarpanam, is performed by that particular priest, and it is the most, I think, tarpanam that we offer. And that is what's recommended if you have something for a particular person, especially if a close family member. For example, I did it when my grandmother passed, I did it when my father passed, like I did it when my cousins passed, people who are close by, and you can feel them. I could feel their presence, all of those people. And when I did the tarpanam, I could literally feel it go. It was amazing because I knew I was having thoughts every day of these particular people after they passed. And it was a haunting thought, continual. And then when I did this ritual, I could feel it just completely leave. Now, you can do the ritual when the person dies. So for example, 40 days after they've passed. But and I did that with the folks that passed during this period I knew of this service. But then, my father passed away, 30 years ago. And I did the service for him 20 years after he died. And it was amazing. It was an incredible transition from how I'm feeling a presence around me that wasn't necessarily very pleasant to feeling an immense blessings and happiness from his soul. And so you can do it either way, either if they passed recently or if they haven't, it's been a while. Either way, it'll work. And that particular priest that Dr. Pillai mentioned performs these rituals, the very intense, very highly focused rituals where you have to hone in on that particular being. And it was interesting because I was able to hear back from the priest, and not everyone is able to do that, so don't expect that, but I was able to, and it just helped reiterate how this ritual works. For example, leading up to when my grandmother was passing, I happened to already be working with this priest, and when she passed, I didn't even know it happened. I knew she was going to die that day, but I didn't know when. I had this feeling of elation, like just this pure joy. And I was like, what happened? I called my mother and she's like, oh, grandma just passed. And I was like, oh my gosh. So this amazing priest who does these individual services had been working with her soul beforehand and allowed her to pass over gloriously. Of course, he also did the tarpanam and the rituals after the fact as they needed to be done. So that's an amazing, just incredible service. Like, how do you get that anywhere else in the world? It's just so beneficial. I've personally benefited from it so much. So there's the individual Mahatarpanam for those special cases. There's the year-long Tarpanam for just having it covered every single day. I looked at chat, and Lise, one of our friends, she said she is in the Royal Tarpanam package, which is the everyday, I believe, and just loves it. I'm in that one as well. Sorry, I'm not in the every single day. I'm in the next one down, where they do all these special days throughout the month. There's different moon phases that have ceremonies done on your behalf. Definitely new moon services are done every single month. And then there's other birth stars and moon phases that are important. And so those services will be done on those particular days. So there's links below for all these three services. So you have the Mahatarpanam, the individual Mahatarpanam for a particular individual. You have the year-long service, so you can pick a different package. There's different packages based on price point, but that gives me at least the sense of I don't have to think about it. It automatically gets deducted. I pay it every month. I get the service done, and I feel like my ancestors are covered. I'm doing my own Tarpanam as well, but at least now I also know it's done for you. Then we have the very specialized 15 days of Mahalaya that's coming up, these ancestor power times that where Dr. Pillai says you don't want to miss, like you don't miss this particular time. And then you can look at the page, the link for those services particularly. And there's different packages for that as well. And just pick whichever one works best for you. But because this is such an underlying factor to our progression, to our evolution, to our happiness, to our ancestors' ability to move up into the galaxy of ancestors, as he said, and relieve their suffering, relieve our suffering, this is something from a spiritual solutions perspective is a must-have. Dr. Pillai talked about last year how, Tarpanam is the most important thing that you can be doing for yourself and your ancestors for your spiritual growth. We had a lot of great videos last year too, so do watch the ones from prior sessions where he talked about how when your ancestors get to a particular level in these galaxy, that they gain more power, and then they can bless you even more, so that you have a deeper sense of the ability to clear the scarcity and create what you want in your life. And the ancestors will help you do that. This is also why in the Srimati courses and in teachings, in any Dr. Pillai teachings, we recommend from a karma removal standpoint that Tarpanam and ancestor offerings is key. It is paramount. It is part of your karma removal process. If you want to be manifesting anything in your life, you have to be removing that which is holding you back, and your ancestors' thoughts are constantly influencing us and potentially holding us back from being able to create what we want. So that's why this service is so important. And if you're not doing it at home, do it. And we're going to tell you exactly how to do it. So we've set up 7 different days to join free Pillai Center teachers guiding you through the ancestor rituals. Dr. Pillai talked about the items that you need to have, and those are useful. So we get lots of questions about what if I don't have this or that. It's okay. Do what you can. Do the best you possibly can. And the days that we have, let me just find this real quick. Okay, so our preparatory session is going to be on September 20th. That is Monday in the US, and it's going to be at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. The ancestor rituals have to be done during daytime wherever you are. So we're going to be hosting them daytime US times. But if you're in a different time zone, that's okay. You can still join and watch, just don't perform the ritual, and you can use that video as a guide on how to do it the next day. So on the link for the viewing page, hopefully it's also either you're on this page right now or it's below this video, you'll see the dates, and they are going to be September 20th, 21st. 21st is the first day of Mahalaya. So we're going to do a preparatory session on September 20th. Because when I did the webinar last week, people asked, what do I need to do? How do I do it? So we're going to do a workshop. These are all the ingredients that you need. And this is exactly what you need to do it, how to do it. So please add yourself to the email list. I think you can set a reminder on that page. And this way we'll send you an email in advance to remind you to come and what to bring with you. Very important, okay? So make sure you're on that email list. And if you aren't sure how to do that, just write to office@pillaicenter.com and we'll get you squared away. So preparatory session, September 20th. Don't miss that. You can join live or you can definitely watch the replay. And then we'll have live sessions throughout these 15 days. And we picked different moon phases because different moon phases have different significances or in different energies associated with them that help to progress what you're doing with your ancestors, helps to progress your actions. So the 21st is the first day of Mahalaya. So we're just going to kick it off and do one together. Then we have the September 24th, 28th, 29th, October 3rd, and October 5th. And those are all the days that we are inviting you to join us to do Tarpanam live. We'll also be including a teaching around that particular day, something from Dr. Pillai's recorded videos, ways for you to connect with your global community and share your experiences. Now that Dr. Pillai really wants to hear from you regarding your Tarpanam experiences, please share them on these sessions, write into us, share them in Facebook groups, on posts, anywhere you possibly can. Put them on your own social media and tag us so that we can see it and we can also show Dr. Pillai. So those are the free sessions that we are offering, and we hope that you'll join that. There's wonderful videos from last year from Dr. Pillai we hope that you'll watch. And then we invite you to join any one of these different packages. The individual Tarpanam for that special person who's close to you, the year-long package, which I personally do because I don't want to have to think about it. And in some of the year-long packages, the Mahalaya 15 days is included. So for me, that's what I want to do. I just want to pay once and be, feel clear for the rest of the year that it's covered. And I want my Mahalaya included in that. So you have to look through, pick whichever one works best for you, works for your budget, and for the year long, or pick the Mahalaya. And again, Mahalaya packages has different offerings you can join. So I'll check to see if there are any questions at this point. If you have any, please post them. What is the particular individual service called? It's called Individual Maha Tarpanam. And there should be a link, and your chat support person should have that link as well, who can post it into chat. I'm wanting to contact this person for the individual Tarpanam. Okay. Perfect. Yes. And if you have any trouble, just write to office@pillaicenter.com and say, I'm interested in individual Maha Tarpanam. Maha just means great, right? So the individual great Tarpanam, the biggest you can do. And that's what you want to do. Let's see. People are asking when it starts. So Mahalaya starts on the first waning moon after this full moon that's happening Sunday to Monday. So wherever your time zone is, just see when that first waning moon is. There's so many different options in the link. Which one would be more essential to do? Individual or the 15 days? If I had to pick, I would do, depending on your budget, I would pick the 15 days. Even though it's group, you're getting more of them. So you're kind of covering more bases in that way. However, when it comes to selecting the service, usually I read through it and see what options I really want to have, and also determine what I can afford at the time. So we don't want you to overspend. We want you to feel comfortable in your purchase and look through which options you feel like you need. So for example, for me, I am in the I forget what it's called. It's the $127 a month year-long package. It's something I feel like I can afford, I feel comfortable doing, and it's important to me to get the most I possibly can. I think the one after that is like $350 a month or something to that effect. If you can afford that, by all means, you should do it. But I selected the next one down because it was the most I could possibly get in my budget. So that's how I look through and select things. You should do whatever works best for you. I know there's lots of options, but in the year-long package, there's the pay in full option or the monthly payment. So sometimes people like to just pay it in full and then never have to think about it until next year when it rolls around, or maybe that's too much out of your budget at the moment. You can pick the monthly. But for the year long, it's pretty clearly laid out. When you scroll through that page, you'll see there's the basic Tarpanam. Here's what I get. And that one's the $72 per month. Really great option. All of the new moons are included. Cow feedings, food feedings, two of the Mahalaya rituals. So it's like the bare minimum of what you would want to get. And then you have the premier 1 year Tarpanam, and that has 6 of the Mahalaya days in there, as well as everything from the prior. And then you have the royal 1 year Tarpanam, and that has all 15 days. So this is the one I do because I want to have all my 15 days covered for Mahalaya, plus every month new moons, plus the food feedings and the additional whatever else they're doing, right? To me, those are the most important things. Making sure my new moons are covered and my Mahalaya are covered. That's most important. And that's the one that I picked. So if that's helpful, I hope that that works. The next one after that is everyday Tarpanam. So it's everything that we just said, plus 300, it says 321 days. I'm not sure why it's 321. But maybe because, yeah, I understand now. All the other days are filled with other rituals that have been done for you. So that's what that is. And that one's more expensive. So that really just depends on your budget. Hope that answers a few questions. Any other questions? Should one get the individual Mahatarpanam or the individual Homa? If you are looking for something for a particular person, definitely do the individual Tarpanam versus the individual Homa. The Homa is there to help you gain support of the gods and goddesses who help us and our ancestors during this 15 days. But the individual Tarpanam will go right to that person that you want to help elevate. Okay, so it's a slight difference, right? Like, so you're gaining support, which is very important too. Those individual homas are super important to help gain we need the gods in order to help us do anything, right? So we need God's support, we need grace, and in order to do that, fire rituals, fire labs, homas are super important for us to be able to do that. So that's the importance of the fire ceremonies included in these rituals. But the Tarpanam itself, especially the individual Tarpanam, is paramount for if you're wanting to work with one particular soul that needs help. Ali said, Royal 1-year Tarpanam. Yes, that's the one. That's the one that includes, thank you for posting that. That's the one that includes all the 15 days of Mahalaya. Question is, why aren't we doing the 15 days together? Why are we not doing the 15 days together? We decided to select the most important days. The teachers had just gone through 30 days of Ganesha daily sessions, and we're going to do a few more days of sessions in preparation for Navaratri that's coming up. So this year, all these ceremonies and festivals are happening back to back. We have Ganesha's birthday, we have Mahalaya, we have Navaratri, just crammed in together. So we had to pick and choose the different free sessions we were going to give. Last year, we actually had a gap, which was unusual, between Mahalaya and Navaratri. And so we were able to do all 15 days with you. This year, we don't. It's as soon as Mahalaya ends, Navaratri begins the next day. So we're preparing to help you prepare for Navaratri as well. And we just needed we needed a minute and a little breather in between to get that going. So we hope that you appreciate that, Katina. Can the coin be reused? Yes, the coin is reused, and someone's asking if they can keep it in their altar. Sure, you can keep it on your altar if you feel the desire to do so. So the person Insta, I think I answered your question about the different names of the particular Tarpanams. If not, post again. Oh, Katina, maybe you were asking about doing it yourself. I thought maybe you were doing it in group. You should definitely be doing all 15 days yourself. You should definitely be participating in the rituals that done for you for all 15 days if you can afford that. So by all means, do 15 days. It's just that we're not doing the guided 15 days, like I said, for that reason. Women ask this too. You can do Tarpanam on your cycle. In terms of relieving the items, Sucharita, or I think is hosting our preparatory call, she will be going over all of that. So join the September 20th live session or watch the replay. Other questions? Do you get feedback from the priest? No, you don't, because nowadays he has so many more people that he's servicing. We don't get individual feedback anymore. This was back in the day. This was like, I don't know, 15 years ago when it wasn't very, he I was very lucky to be able to get some feedback. Question, I lost my husband, so can I do this for his soul and his ancestors too? Absolutely. So you can definitely do the Mahatarpanam, the individual for your husband. In fact, that would be perfect for you to do that. I've forgotten to use the coin. Of course, no problem. If you don't have the coin, or you don't have Darba grass, or you don't have black sesame seed, use what you have and just keep doing it. I remember last year very specifically, Dr. Pillai was like, it's important for everyone to do Tarpanam every single day. Are you doing it? So just imagine him every morning being like, are you doing it? And what I do is I put the ingredients in my bathroom so that it's somewhere, you can even put it on your kitchen sink, somewhere where you're going to see it. And it really takes 1 minute. It doesn't take very long at all. So. All right, okay, good. So Sutrita is hosting the guided Tarpanam sessions. Wonderful. You'll always learn a lot from Sutrita. Any other questions? I've been loving the team has been posting a lot of the testimonials. They're just so wonderful. I read you just a few, but they're incredible. I have a lot of my own as well. I talked a little bit about it earlier, to be able to feel the thoughts kind of leaving from someone who's been departed and kind of participating, in your thought process for quite some time. It's such a relief. There's so much peace and joy, and just the blessings that come from it is incredible. All right, I think we've hit all of our questions. If you have any other questions, you can, let's see. Okay, this person is asking, they wanted you for one person. Okay. Yeah, if you want to talk to somebody, you can chat us, or Sutrita is on chat on the online. Come to those other practice sessions and guided sessions to get any other questions kind of resolved. So if you're looking to do, you can also do both, right? And again, it depends on your budget, and it depends on what you're able to do and what your needs are. So if you are really wanting to help one particular person right now, you can do the individual Tarpanam for that person, and you can do the other days for the rest of your ancestry, right? So that individual Tarpanam hones in on that particular person. Does their liberation help you and all your ancestors? Yes, of course. But that doesn't mean you've just now made offerings to all your generations, or 6 or 12 or 64 generations via the Mahalaya, these 15 days. It does not, it's not inclusive, it's a separate thing. So if it's kind of like a one-off, the Mahatarpanam is something you do for that particular person, but the ongoing Tarpanam is something you do every single day. And that's where you want to join the year-long package and pay maybe that monthly fee and get included in certain Mahalaya days, as well as as well as days throughout every other month of the year. This is why it's important for you to have that year-long system going. Last year, I think I likened it to like paying rent or paying your electricity bill. Like, just factor that into your budget, where it's like, okay, I'm going to do this because this is impacting my everyday life, just like my electricity, right? Your ancestors are literally impacting our everyday life. They can bring you thoughts of depression. They can bring you thoughts of prosperity, right? And our thoughts feed everything that we're doing. So of course we want to use this divine tool that's been given to us by Dr. Pillai and the Siddhas through these techniques, these esoteric techniques, So we want to do all we possibly can to benefit from them and definitely use them as much as possible. So I think if we have any other questions. Okay, cool. Is this also a integral yoga which Dr. Pillai teaches us? This is a technique you should be integrating with your spiritual practice, your yoga practice. This is something that you should not miss. So if you're new to Dr. Pillai, definitely join the live sessions or watch our previously recorded videos on how to, but this is a significant part of Dr. Pillai's teachings. Thank you, Melba. She said, I love that Dr. Pillai mentioned conducting a study on the benefits of a person's life after participating in Mahalaya and doing daily Tarpanam, because my life benefited exponentially. Mine too. Thank you. Wow, thank you. So Vashi said, I've been doing Tarpanam for about 10 days and haven't even had all the ingredients, and I feel a massive shift in my thoughts. Super. Thank you so much for sharing it. Okay, good question. I know a person whose brother had a violent death. A brother isn't an ancestor. Can the individual Tarpanam be done? Yes. So I understand what you mean. The technicality of an ancestor is someone you've been born from. However, a sibling is part of your DNA. It's part of your soul genetics. By all means, yes, 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 that will affect that person greatly. It'll affect you greatly when a sibling passes, especially if it's a violent or tragic death. So definitely, this person should do an individual Tarpanam. I feel so grateful that we have this technology from Dr. Pillai. Like, imagine if we didn't. My gosh, I just feel so grateful that when something tragic happens and this energy is upon us, and we just think, oh, maybe I'm just depressed now. But it could be the soul is looking to you to try to help them be relieved. And this is so important for us because then when that soul is relieved, we not only we receive the blessings, which also means all of that kind of heaviness is lifted, that negativity, whatever, the anxiety, the fear, and all of that from that soul is now lifted. Like, how else in the world would you get something like this? It's just incredible. I feel we're very blessed. So thank you for asking that, Ravi. Very important. Especially anyone who's had any sort of tragic death. What happens is the soul gets, I don't want to say stuck, but there's a period where they're struggling, probably more than a soul who had a passing that was maybe from natural causes or something. And so that causes a little more angst for that soul, and then that angst gets passed on to us, which is why we want to help them move on. All right, well, I want to thank everyone for being here today, especially Dr. Pillai, all of you, our chat support, and the Pillai Center teachers, and support to do our preparatory and free sessions for you all. Please sign up for your Mahalaya ASAP because it starts, I think our deadline is tomorrow, I want to say tomorrow, the 20th, because they need to get everything set up in India and begin your sessions on the first day. So just register as soon as possible so that you're in. If you can do the year-long, pick the package that works for you. If you can't do the year-long, pick a Mahalaya package that works for you. Just pick a package. If you have any questions, write to us, office@pillaicenter.com. We're here to help. We're so grateful to Dr. Pillai, all the saints, the siddhas who have passed on these amazing teachings to us so that we can benefit and evolve. Lots of love to you all. Namaste. We'll talk to you soon.